All right, listen up. If you're running motorcycle tours, ATV adventures, or really any kind of foreign-led service in Baja California Sur, this is for you. The days of flying under the radar, of doing business informally, well, they're over. Let's get right into what this new era of strict compliance really means. For a long, long time, a lot of Baja operated with a certain, let's call it, a relaxed attitude. But that chapter is officially slammed shut. The government, and just as importantly, the local communities, have decided that enough is enough. That old casual approach, it's now the single biggest threat to your business. This really says it all, doesn't it? The Lejano Oeste, the Wild West days, they are gone. So what does that mean for you? It means that everything you thought you knew, maybe from a trip 5 years ago, is totally out of date. In fact, relying on that old info is a trap. We are in a new system now, a system of absolute compliance. The name for this new model is active enforcement, and that word active is key. This isn't just about some new rules written down in a dusty book somewhere. No, this is about multiple government agencies. We're talking immigration, tax, labor, environmental, all working together. They're coordinating raids, they're sharing data, and they have zero tolerance for unpermitted work. What used to be a suggestion is now an absolute ironclad requirement. So how in the world do you navigate this new terrain? Well, it all boils down to 3 core pillars. If you can master these, you've got a clear path to operating legally and, successfully. But if you ignore them, the consequences are no joke. So let's break them down one by one. First up, we've got the very foundation of the whole system, federal law. These are the non-negotiable rules of the game handed down from the Mexican government, and they apply to every single person doing business here, whether you're a massive tour company or a solo guide. There are absolutely no exceptions. And here it is, the number that trips up so many foreign businesses, 90%. Federal labor law is crystal clear on this. At least 90% of your employees must be Mexican nationals. So let's say you're running an ATV tour company with 4 of your buddies from back home as guides and only 1 local guy helping out. Guess what? You are an immediate, serious violation. And believe me, this is one of the very first things inspectors look for. Getting this paperwork right is everything. You simply cannot work on a tourist visa. End of story. You have to have a residency card, a residente, with a specific permit to work. Your business needs a tax ID from the SET, which is kind of like the IRS, and every single employee has to be registered with IMSS, Mexico's social security system. And get this, they're not relying on paper timesheets anymore. They're using electronic tracking to make sure you're sticking to the 40-hour work week. All right, let's get to our second pillar. This is where things get really local. And for anyone running tours across the desert, on motorcycles, ATVs, quads, you name it, this is probably the most important thing you need to understand. We are talking about the ejido. So what is an ejido? Think of it as a community that legally owns and controls a huge piece of land. And this isn't just some local custom, it's protected by the Mexican Constitution itself. The ejido assembly is the ultimate authority over what happens on their land. You could have every federal permit in the world, but if the ejido says your tour can't cross their land, you're done. To operate, you need their permission, what's called a social license to operate. They're the real gatekeepers. This slide really lays out the choice you have to make. The old way, the predatory, cut-and-run model of using up resources, hiring your own unauthorized foreign staff, and giving nothing back to the community, that is finished. The ejidos are now demanding a symbiotic partnership. They want to see you hiring and training their people. They want you operating sustainably. They want you to prove you're having a net positive impact. That means contributing to local schools, roads, and health services. It's simple. You're either helping build the community or you're just a parasite. And that brings us to our final pillar, environmental stewardship. I mean, let's be honest. In a place as stunning and fragile as Baja California Sur, protecting the environment isn't just some nice idea. It's the price of admission. It's about protecting the very thing your clients are paying to see. Now, I know a lot of these specific mandates you see here are for marine tours, but the principle is universal. Just like a boat captain has to track his vessel and log what he sees, you as a land tour operator are expected to follow a strict leave no trace philosophy. That means respecting the plants and animals, staying on the designated trails to stop erosion, and never, ever disturbing the fragile desert ecosystem. You have to be a guardian of the land, not just a user.
And here's a pro tip that shows you just how serious they are about this stuff. Using the historically accurate name for a place, like Ensenada de Muertos, shows you've done your homework. But using some old foreign developer name, that is an immediate red flag for inspectors. It tells them you're disconnected from the local culture, and you're probably not following its laws either. It literally puts a target on your back.
Okay, so we've covered the rules, but you might still be thinking, how are they really going to enforce all this? Well, the days of just hoping an inspector doesn't drive down your dusty road are long gone. The new ways they enforce this are smart, they're community-driven, and frankly, they're unavoidable. One of the most powerful new tools is the government's SIQL portal. This lets anyone, a local resident, one of your competitors, anonymously report illegal activity. So if they see your unpermitted ATV tour roaring through their village, they can just discreetly snap a photo, note the time, and upload it directly to the authorities. The government then takes that info, runs it against tax and immigration records, and boom, you are officially on their radar. Technology has slammed all the old loopholes shut. Mexico's tax authority, SAT, is now using AI to scan payment apps like Zelle, Venmo, and PayPal for under-the-table business. We're seeing joint operativos or raids on tourist areas, and all the big agencies, immigration, tax, and labor, are sharing data constantly. That means if you get in trouble with one of them, you're in trouble with all of them. So what happens if you get caught? I need to be really clear here. The consequences aren't just a slap on the wrist. They are fast, they are serious, and they escalate in a way that can permanently change your life and your ability to even travel here. Just look at how this unfolds. First, the Ejido bans you. That shuts down your tour routes instantly. Then come the huge fines from the tax and labor guys. After that, your name, your photo, and your address get put on a public registry of identified offenders. Then it goes international. They share that info with your home country's consulate. And the final step, your passport gets flagged. And a flagged passport leads right to this, the ultimate penalty. We're not talking about a temporary timeout. We're talking about a permanent ban. Your ability to enter Mexico for any reason at all is just gone for good. This isn't just about your business anymore. This is about your future access to this entire beautiful country. Now, I know this all sounds incredibly daunting, but there is another way to look at all of this. This isn't really about punishment. It's about preservation. It's about making sure that Baja California Sur stays the amazing place that drew all of us here in the first place. This quote from Paul Bulow of the Stewardship Initiative just nails it. Following the rules isn't some burden you should try to get around. It's the cost of entry. It's the absolute baseline requirement for being a guest in this community and getting to share in its beauty and its economy. And that's the real why behind all these changes. These rules are here to make sure that the money from tourism actually stays here. It's to support the local families, to improve the schools and roads, and to fund the conservation that will protect this paradise for our kids and grandkids. It stops the region from being hollowed out by unchecked greed. So really, it all comes down to this one simple question. As a foreign operator here, are you contributing to the health of this amazing community and its ecosystem? Or are you just taking from it? The choice is yours to make, but under this new system of active enforcement, only the symbiotic partners are going to have a future here.